The electric matrix in Brazil is mainly formed by renewable energy sources, and wind energy onshore represents almost 11% of the Brazilian matrix. The wind energy market in Brazil has had a very fast growth in the last 10 years. There are currently 19 gigawatts in operation and almost 30 gigawatts of wind energy contracted in auctions or in the free market that will come into operation by 2024. In Brazil, there are still no offshore wind projects in operation, but important initiatives have already taken place, and these initiatives can foster the development of the offshore wind sector. Let's describe some of these initiatives. IBAMA, the federal agency responsible for environmental licenses, published two key documents. The first was a study on environmental impact assessment of offshore wind projects in accordance with international experience. The second document was the reference term with guidelines for environmental studies for offshore wind farms in Brazil. The Energy Research Office, EPE, in its Portuguese acronym that aims at supporting the Brazilian Ministry of Mines and Energy, MME, with studies and research on energy planning, published important documents on offshore energy in Brazil as the National Energy Plan, PNE, 2020-50, that evaluates alternatives for the expansion of energy supply in the coming decades and already considers offshore energy for the expansion of generation in Brazil. Roadmap is another very interesting document, presenting an overview and paths of offshore energy in Brazil, highlighting the potential of 697 gigawatts in water depth up to 15 meters and wind speed above 7 meters per second. The document also highlights many challenges that need to be overcome, such as port infrastructure, capacity of the transmission system, source competitiveness, adaptation of the national industry, etc. In 2020, the Brazilian Navy published the guidelines on maritime signaling of offshore wind projects. It was an important advance for the development of offshore wind projects in Brazil. Among all this happening, we are working on the development of Brazil's first offshore wind farms. We have identified 3 different regions with excellent potential for project development and have already started negotiations with the environmental agency. Each of the 3 projects have a potential of 3 gigawatts, totaling 9 gigawatts of projects in Brazil. We obtained the term of reference for environmental studies for all these projects. The first project shall be the Maravilha project, located in the state of Rio de Janeiro. The name Maravilha is a tribute to the city of Rio de Janeiro, also known as the Wonderful City. The project has a capacity of up to 3 gigawatts. Is located approximately 26 kilometers from the coast of water depth of 20 to 50 meters. This project is about 30 kilometers away from Porto do Açu, which is one of the most important ports in Brazil, and at a distance about 285 kilometers from the city of Rio de Janeiro. The project is located in the region with the highest energy consumption in Brazil, and this strategic location has already aroused the interest of other companies to develop offshore wind projects in the same region. The second project is called Jangada, and it's located in the state of Ceará, in the northeast of Brazil. The name Jangada is a tribute to a small sailing vessel used by artisanal fishermen in this region. This project also has 3 gigawatts of capacity, is at a distance about 22 kilometers from the coast with water depth of 20 to 50 meters. This project is located at a distance about 90 kilometers from Port of Pecém, one of the most important ports in the northeast of Brazil. The project is located about 120 kilometers from the city of Fortaleza, the capital of the state of Ceará. The northeast region of Brazil has the largest number of onshore wind projects in operation, and a lot of onshore and offshore projects in development. This can generate a lot of competition for the transmission of offshore projects. The third one is the Águas Claras project. The name Águas Claras is a tribute of the beauty of the Brazilian coast. This project has up to 3 gigawatts of capacity, is located at a distance of about 10 kilometers from the shore, and has a water depth of 20 to 50 meters. We were pioneers in this region, but now there's a great competition from offshore projects in this same region. In Brazil, there are currently 42 gigawatts in the environmental licensing phase. To have a competitive advantage, we need to move forward the development of our projects. The next steps for our projects are the beginning of environmental studies and submission the project for approval by the Navy. We are also participating in your regulatory discussions on offshore energy in Brazil. We are also having frequent meetings with a number of key stakeholders for the offshore wind industry. Due to mentioned before, we will soon need to establish a local team in Brazil to develop these projects. Iberdrola Group is highly respected in Brazil, and we can make a very positive contribution to the development of Brazil offshore wind sector.